All right. Okay, welcome in everybody. We're about to start an interview here. We got AC Putzin of the Acolytes. So the Acolytes are a guild that we're going to be interviewing today for probably the next hour or so. So I'll do a little intro this morning on the channel itself. So basically what we're trying to do here is when new people join the game, they can go through a library that we're going to make of guilds and what they're all about. And then that way, when they come into the game, they can kind of pick if they want to be, a red hat, gray hat, or white hat, which are as they sound. Like a red hat, obviously, is a PK guild. Gray is kind of neutral; they kind of walk the line. White hats are pure against RPK and that. So the questions today will be done at the end. So we'll go through that in question format or highlighted, like Monica said. I want to introduce my co-host. Okay, Dean, go ahead.
Hi, I'd be Von Serlos, an old vet from Mortal 1, and I could probably answer some questions for you if you got.
Okay. All right, so next we have is Putzin. He's going to go ahead and introduce himself and like a brief 1 minute whatever on whatever he wants to talk about himself and his game and whatnot. And then the next one he'll introduce his officer. So go ahead there, Putzin. I think your mic's muted, by the way.
Yeah, I sometimes I'm hot mic, so I was just
okay.
Yeah, the name's Putzin. I'm 27 years old. I'm the guild leader for Acolytes Guild. And this is a newer guild because we used to have a gaming community called Zealots. It's been going for like 8 years now, but in this game there's already a guild called Seal, and during the early beta days there was some drama with that. So anyways, we rebranded to Acolytes. And most of the people we have in it now are pretty new to the game, and I would say Acolytes itself is only dedicated to Mortal Online 2, but there is a community that I'm from that I run that's called Zealots also. But just to not confuse anybody, Acolytes is only for Mortal Online 2. And yeah. And I got Faith here, Faith Ember. She's a newer officer. She does our recruitment, and she dabs a bit into the diplomacy for the guild. And I'll let her tell her about herself.
I am the recruiter. I'm the main recruiter. I run that. I do a tiny bit of diplomacy, and I'm new to the game itself. I originally came from Overwatch in the more competitive scene, originally from a team called Project Z. I don't really know what else to say. Just hello. Lovely to be here.
Thanks very much. So first, we're gonna start with Putzin. We're gonna ask you about kind of what the ethos of the game is, or your guild. Sorry, just briefly.
Our guild's main focus is PvP, but we accept all different types of play styles. Like, if they just want to be crafters, gatherers, if they just want to do dungeons that will be in the game in the future. But our main focus is PvP, so we're going to be focusing on like territory control and stuff like that when they add keeps to the game, and that's going to be like our focus. And yeah, I mean, some of the people in the guild do light RP. It's very rare, but that used to be one of our focuses when we were in Zealots, is like RP on the side, and then just praising the Eternal Flame and all that stuff. But mostly we're just a PvP guild with who's going to be dabbing into the territory control in the future.
Okay. So we're gonna ask. So your starting location for your guild, then whereabouts are you guys mainly located, and where do you think? Let's just start with the location and why you're there.
We're going to be based out of Fabrinum at launch. Currently, we're in GK with our alliance. And yeah, I mean, if you want to find us right now, we have some people in Fabrinum, but mostly we're in Galcor.
Okay, so Fab is going to be your main. So that's going to be a pretty heavily contested area most of the game, I would think. So if people are coming to find out, like they're into the recruiting, they want to know if you're taking old and new players all the time. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we take all types of players. Again, like PvEers, PvPers, new players, vets. Like, it doesn't matter. We'll train you up. We have people who like training people, and we know a lot about the game. So if you're looking to learn about the game and play the game the way you want to play it, then you can join us.
Nice. Okay, so now we're gonna ask a few questions on. So, do you have somebody that's actually looking after your crafting? So, say the guild, somebody comes into the guild. First thing they say, okay, so what should I be starting? Do you have someone that's gonna be dedicated to help guys get going on crafting, like a brand new player, say?
I mean, yeah, we have lots of people who do all the different types of crafting. We have people for alchemy. We have people who do taming. We have people who do armor, weapon crafting, like all the professions. We have people who do cooking, even though cooking's not that popular. I mean, we have someone for everything. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the crafting, and then if you were to say you had a tactician, so you have a guy that's going to be kind of your war planner as well. He would just look after that? There'd be how many people if you were going to have your war planning like group? How many people do you think you would have in for that?
Like the inner circle, you mean?
Yeah, like the tight, because you can't. In this game you can't let everybody know what you're doing, right? So the circle has to be, between 5-10 people that are tight, that are dedicated, hardcore to the guild, and they would never let the cat out of the bag. Do you have a bunch of names that would be kind of like those guys right now?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have 6 officers and then myself, so there would be like 7 total like inner circle privy people.
Yeah.
But we also have the core of our guild, and it's kind of like a rank within the guild that we trust with almost everything, but we don't really bring stuff to the core until like the officers can kind of agree on what they want to do, and then they want the core to understand it so they can pass it to the regular members, like in a not so exposing kind of way, but like kind of like direct them in a way, through gameplay. Like, oh, if like, we have like a secret mission, we're going to Tefra Crater or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna be like, and people are trying to do something else. They're gonna be like, no, guys, hold on, we got an idea. Come on over here. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna direct them.
Perfect.
So yes, we have our officers, and then we have what we call our core.
Yeah, like in the inner circle type of thing for sure. It's almost mandatory in this game because it gets out of hand as soon as you let the cat out of the bag on anything, right? Okay, so now you're planning on building a keep, from what I understand, right? Like
yes, sir.
You're gonna have your own keep, and then, like where you think it's gonna be outside between Fab and kind of Carnash area.
I mean, I have no idea because they said they were moving keep spots, but we're gonna have a keep near Fabrinum. Yes.
Yeah. And then who would like decide exactly where you're gonna put it? Like that would be the inner circle people again, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna weigh the options and discuss it in the inner circle. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's lots of areas for that, anyways. Apparently there's gonna be lots of areas, anyways.
How many keep spots last game?
There's 16
8?
last game. There were 16,
Yeah.
and there's going to be 16 again for the main continent of Maryland.
All right, that's what I was curious if they add more or not.
So 16. There's 16 keep spots so far right now on the main continent. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Okay, so
well, we don't know where they are, but he confirmed that there will be the same number of keeps. Yes.
Doesn't seem like enough, almost, eh?
I was wondering that.
Like it doesn't seem like that's near enough for keeps.
They'll be highly contested.
Oh, big time, yeah, they will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now let's just briefly talk about your alliances. Who are your main alliances right now?
Yeah. So our main alliances are ESL and SOB, NHOJ, Harbingers. There's a couple more, but they're pretty small and they don't participate as much.
Yeah.
But yes, like that's the main alliances right there.
So have you guys struck deals with those guys, those guilds, to help you hold contested areas then? Like if you want to run, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, those are like full alliances right there. They're not like some sort of like handshake agreement. No, these are like our bros and our homies. These are ride or die people that I just mentioned.
Yeah, Faith, did you want to add to that?
It's just they're currently helping us hold GK.
Okay.
So everybody is working together really closely. We are a close-knit group of an alliance.
So GK is go ahead, sorry.
I do want to say one more thing.
Sure.
I just want to say one more thing. It keeps getting brought up. People keep saying we're like a 16 alliance guild or 16 guild alliance. It's just not the case at all. Yep. Like 5 or 6 of those guilds is Acolytes alone.
Yeah,
They're just overflows.
So this is
Yeah.
just like propaganda by our enemies to
Yeah.
like spread this shit.
See?
But
Perfect.
yeah, so
Thank
there's
you.
not that many guilds in the alliance.
No, and I kind of know this. Like most people that know the game know that there's only X amount on the guild stone, and there's always overflow, right? It's the same with Kodo. They have like 250 people, right? And there's just multiple guilds. So,
Right.
but clarification on that is definitely a good idea. So the allies, yep, we did that. Dean, did you have something you wanted to add in?
No, you guys are talking about the fight going on in GK, and I've been watching a lot of those fights going on. I want to say thanks for getting that crap going already. I enjoyed that. I want to come. I'm going to be up there soon with you fighting. So.
Yeah, he just got in the game. You guys actually asked me to come over and heal a couple times for you, which I would do in a second on my main tune for you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I like the fights.
All right, Manik, did you have anything you want to add in right there? How's she feeling?
Not really. My neighbors are just being loud. So I'm trying to stay out of the interview, you know.
Okay.
You might hear.
All right, I did.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, how many members do you guys have, and how much members are you gonna take in? Like, a specific number? Is it gonna be like a closer community, smaller community, or you guys open for everyone almost?
We haven't set on a specific number. We have about 200 people, but maybe like 60 of those people are actually active. But there's no specific number. If I had to put a number on actives, because like members in the Discord is kind of just like whatever, and we always trim the fat because someone joined and they're active for 2 days, and then 3 weeks later like they're not even playing the game or haven't set a So I would say probably we're aiming for 100 actives, and then over that is just a little bit too much probably.
Jeez, that's a lot of people. Good job.
Okay.
We get that it's super early, so members and numbers and stuff like that are just for now.
Yeah. Well, they're all over the place, right? Like
yeah.
You can, like you said, you have a bunch of people that are active and stuff, and it's just whatever. They bail out. They're all pumped at the start for the game, and then they get in, and it's a little bit too much work for them. They find out, and then that's it. They just sort of stop it, right? Stop playing.
It's time consuming, boys. It's going to take up some time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. So we kind of want to ask what is sort of the best time that you guys have had in the game so far in MO2, and then if you can go back to, like, did you play MO1?
Yeah, I mean not all of our members played MO1 obviously, but like I played MO1 for like 2-3 years on and off, around like 2014 I want to say.
Yeah.
This was around the ID Fate wars, if you guys remember them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We come in at the end of that.
So yeah, so I was around that time. I believe Kodo was around at that time, but I never went far west. So I didn't know who Kodo was at the time. So I know they are now, obviously, and stuff, but like I didn't know much about them. I was in a guild called Deus. We basically like were really close with ID and stuff, and I was around those times. And then I took a break because I went to the military.
Yeah.
And by the time I came back, my whole guild was destroyed. It got like incited, and then like our palisade got destroyed, and like there was like a whole bunch of bad stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I played solo for a bit, and I joined a few other guilds and stuff, but like my main time was before I went to the military, and it was a great time, honestly. I was in love with MO1 from like day one. Like it was my niche type of game.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting for MO2 for so many years.
Dude, you're awesome.
When they announced it like early last year, or like when I heard about it at least, like I was like, yes, like please. Like I was so invested. Immediately, I was just like, yes, I know what I'm doing with the next few years of my life at the very least. Like,
I know.
So yeah,
going on.
I do too. I love where this is going. So why don't you give us some kind of like what your best time in MO1 was then, and go through the whole thing, because people love to hear this. Because what we want is people, the memories that everybody has from MO1 playing, we want to make sure that the people that are coming into MO2 can have the same kind of memories, right? Because the game was phenomenal in MO1, man. Absolutely great. Like, so much fun. So give us something on
honestly,
MO1.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the best time was when I was in Deus in our early days. Like, our Deus got pretty big. I can't remember exact numbers, but we probably had like, like 30 to maybe 40 actives before I went to the military, which is kind of like what my guild's kind of like at now. So it's pretty big,
Yeah.
especially in MO1 days when the pop wasn't that big. And just the come up on the guild, like just having like all these cohesive, like cooperative people working together for like a specific goal because we wanted to palisade. Like we
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what we wanted, or we were all kind of new to the game, and like collectively, like we learned the game together, and that come up and like that cohesion, like bond you build with like the people you just play with every day and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was truly like it was amazing. Like I still talk to a few of the people from Deus, like from 2014, even though I'd never played any games with them in between. I saw
Yeah.
my boy Albino yesterday in help chat, so I got to remember to reach out to him because he
Yeah.
hasn't been playing. He just started playing recently, I think. So, anyways, but like, just like, it's really just like the grind, and then like seeing like your work being built in front of you in a game
Yeah.
like this, because you can build anywhere, or you will be able to
Yeah.
build anywhere in the game, and you can make your own houses, your vendors, your own banks. You could just farm with your boys. You can have little outposts all over the map, like different like spots where you build and farm at and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite time. And then also like just my own personal moneymaker was I used to farm the crap out of satyrs.
Oh yeah.
Down on Satyr Beach at Satyr Temple, I would go down there and I would just farm up like for hours, and then I would
Animal
haul all my
bags.
stuff up to Bhakti on my Mulvas, and like I literally created at my time of playing, like not the whole time of MO1, but at my
Yeah.
time of playing, I was the Satyr Spear market in Bhakti. Like
Yeah.
all the Satyr Spears
Really?
on the market were mine, and I would even buy out the lower ones and sell it.
Sell them higher. Yeah, of
I
course.
probably
like-
bought about 50 of those.
Maybe,
Well,
yeah. If it was
oh,
around
yeah, man.
2014, 2015, that was probably.
Oh yeah.
At the end, we'll tell you the story about that. I got a spreadsheet and everything to show you. You'll probably really, really enjoy it about the Satyr dungeon.
Farming.
Yeah, big time. Faith, did you play MO1?
No, I've not played MO1 at all. I'm too young to have gone on early, and then when it got onto my radar, I saw that there was MO2 in development,
Yeah.
and oh my god, did it take long to go through development!
Yeah.
I waited for ages for this, and honestly, the people inside the guild, talking to the people, just hopping on chat and
Yeah.
just doing whatever, is the best time. I think the best time is when just defending Fabinum
Yes.
from loads of different randoms is an absolute blast for me.
Yeah.
I think it's about the people inside, my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be
So-
huge. And sorry, Dean. Go ahead.
No, just if you're new to this game, how many times have your palms sweated on your mouse in a fight?
I don't generally get sweaty palms, but I can tell you my
No?
heart rate increases
Yeah.
so much sometimes because I play a mage build with like just some skill inside spears,
Yeah.
and so when I'm like, oh, I'm now in close range, I have to fight this person who has a massive sword, and I've got this tiny little spear with half the skills I
Yeah.
really need to defeat him. That's
Just-
scary. That's when
Just
I'm
that
really
feeling,
scared.
right? That feeling alone is the hook for me in the game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember Mortal 1 when you were scared to leave town and you're like, oh my god, this is it. And yeah, you're on pins and needles, and that's great in a game.
Yeah.
That's what this game will do.
Yeah. It terrifies you. It really does when you're a new player and
Yeah.
you come out of Tindrum for the first time and all you hear is horror stories about getting PK'd as soon as you walk out the door. Like that's what actually happens. Like it's crazy and it terrifies you.
With our guild and how we've ran like defending Fabinum before, I feel that feeling towards like the edges of Fabinum just wasn't really there. I just wasn't scared to move around
Yeah.
because of how well we defended it.
Yeah.
Going into the forest, the Coloured Forest, is another deal entirely
Exactly.
with people in Kranesh, but it feels quite nice to be inside this guild, I think.
Yeah, it's nice
defended.
when you're rocking around with a bunch of numbers, right? But when you didn't, like when I started the game, there was just me and Dean. We didn't know anything, and I had played Ultima Online for 7 years, so I was used to the PvP aspect of it. But this game just grabbed us, and I lost like 3 years of my life. When I woke up, it was like, wow, 3 years went by. What the hell happened here? Oh yeah, we blew up a bunch of keeps. Ended up playing with RPK for 3 years. Like I so much fun in the game. So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't found anything to back this game yet.
No.
And nor me. I mean, I generally play the absolute hell out of a game and then move on to the next game. And I have to say, I'm never going to put this thing down. This is
You're doomed.
striking.
Yeah. Okay, so for MO2 then, so far you guys have basically just stayed in Fab, and some of your best times are just with your guild mates right now. What do you think the sieging and the castle and the keep sieges are going to be like in this game? Like, it should be almost mind-blowing there. Putzin, if you want to go ahead and take that.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about what they're intending for siege mechanics in the game. They said they're gonna change it a lot, and they haven't really given much detail. But as far as like, what do I think like compositions wise you're gonna see at sieges?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's mostly gonna be foot versus foot again, kind of how it was in MO1. I mean, you'll see mounteds depending on where your keep's at, but for the most part, like most of the map's terrain doesn't really favor mounteds much at all.
No.
So you're gonna see like huge foot versus foot at sieges again, with maybe like fat mages mixed in,
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I don't know that much about the sieging to really like go further on it. Like I don't know if there's gonna be like trebuchets again and stuff like that, or like catapults. I've been hearing things like we're gonna have like burning oil and maybe like ladder siege mechanics.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know if you're gonna have to like how many ladders you can have at one siege, if it's gonna be like specific spots on the like pre-designated walls, or if you could just throw up 100 ladders on the same keep, you know what I mean? Like, so it depends on what strategies are going to be employed. If you can have 2 ladders versus 100, So.
All right, let's keep going here. Yeah, Nutman, did you have anything you wanted to add to the sieging, and what maybe like what some of your experiences were too in maybe MO1 or so?
Well, numbers. It's numbers for sieging. Well, no, not really numbers. Strategy too, but when you're talking about siege ladders, I can't see it being just limited to 2 or 10. It's how many, I don't know what they called
Like if you wanted to build 50 of them, everybody have a ladder, or 2 people per ladder or something. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, how many engineers do you have, right?
Yeah.
Numbers, right?
Yeah, engineers will be the ones that will build everything, I would assume, right?
Yeah, but again, who knows if Mortal 2 will be like that? Like Mortal 1 was, if you had the numbers, well, you're there all day long. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, like I know in RPK we had sieges that were like 36 hours, 4 or 5 days long. Sometimes it was crazy.
Well, at the start of Mortal, though, when you went to siege a keep, it might take a couple days to do it, and just changing the mechanics. Well, we were sieging people in 2 hours, dropping keeps.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to have to be a factor of is it going to factor for your numbers, or is it strategy? I don't know yet.
You got something to add, Faith?
It's going to be a bit of both, isn't it? I mean, from my Overwatch days, I know that if you lose one person in a 6-man team, you are at a massive disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh yeah,
the 5v6 is an 85% chance that the 6-man team win, which is an insane difference. So if you scale that up, you're likely to see a lesser but similar result. Being in the larger group usually yields good results, but if you split up, if you make mistakes that split you, if you have 400 people but they're in 3 different groups, and then you have a group of 200 people, the 200 people have advantage so long as they're playing aggressively. You have to have a good strategy. Otherwise it doesn't matter how many people you have, you're screwed.
Yeah, so I think a big part of the game, a lot of people are definitely looking forward to how big these sieges will actually be now, and with these with these guys that are coming in with mega guilds, you know, like, and they're talking about alliances and all that and Zergs or whatever. But I think some of these big guilds that are going to end up having like 500 or 600 people in them, maybe more, who knows? Like those are going to be like huge guilds to like run the map. You know what I mean? Putzin, you can go ahead and take that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put much weight in those guilds. They're more of like flavor of the month. They're like streamer communities, right? Like they're gaming communities and streamer communities that kind of tie together. They're really flavor of the month, and like, you know, I've been in them like for years and years, like different ones, you know. And what happens is like a new game like Mortal Online 2 gets looked at by like Asmongold, right?
Yes.
And when Asmongold looked at the game, obviously there was a huge influx of players that came to the game. And maybe what can we like say like maybe like 3% of those players are probably still here, right? Of like the 100,000 that probably came and looked at the game and played in the stress test, there's probably like 3% that are still playing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how these streamer communities and gaming communities work. Like, obviously, I'm not going to underestimate them all the way, but I don't think they're as scary as people tend to think. Like, they're going to show up, they're going to be playing, and then the next flavor of the month game is going to come, and they're just going to move on to that because that's what gaming communities do. They're not focused on one game. They're not, you know, putting roots into the game for years to come. They're playing it to get all the content they can out of it, and then they're going to move on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nut.
No, that's just an interesting theory. I like that.
Yeah, it makes sense though, right? Like kind of like a flash in the pan. Rolf TV, hey bud. Yeah, so some of these guilds that are come in, like Kodo to me is a big guild. I think they have a lot of players, but when the beta dropped off, you've seen their numbers just dwindle right down too, which is par for the course, I guess. But what we got to do is try to promote the game more and get rid of as much toxic crap as we can from the original MO1 and try to push the game ahead, because I found MO1 was so toxic. Even I fell into it, like tormenting and trolling people after blowing up their keeps. Like it was just what you did, right? But we didn't know better. And this time, like when the big wars start and everything, I'm gonna have both guild leaders on the show, and we will talk about the war as it pertains to both guilds and things like that. Wouldn't that be awesome?
So juicy, man. That would be so juicy. I would tune in for sure.
Well,
like,
I can't.
100%.
Who wouldn't do it? Like if a guild is ready to go to war with another guild, and we're talking like hundreds of players on each side fighting each other, let's talk and see why we're doing this first, and then winner take all.
I mean, there are definitely like the history is so skewed, right? The history goes to like the loudest people, right?
Yes.
Because like you have like groups like ID, I'll take for example, because they were in the chat. They barely ever talk on like Discord or the forums, or like they didn't used to, at least, you know what I mean? Like, so like their side of the story often went very untold.
Yeah.
And then you would have just like group like RPK, for example, who are like their mortal enemies forever.
Troll.
Who would just like say like all this stuff everywhere. Like it was just like, it wasn't propaganda because some of it was probably true.
Yes.
But then like there was like that other chunk of it which just wasn't true, and they were trying to get people to like go against them or just like, you know, kind of laugh at them or troll them or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So like the thing with like having like two guild leaders come on, sure, people will do it, but there's going to be times where you just won't have a guild leader who wants to come on, and the reason is probably because he's been saying a lot of shit, but he can't prove it or back it up.
Yeah.
So if he knows if he comes on the show, the other guy's going to be like, oh, hey, here's this video, here's this screenshot, this is what this guy said, and he's just going to stand there like a naked idiot.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're probably going to have people come to the show. Other times you're probably going to have people like, probably making excuses, and you just know, like, at the end of the day, like, there's probably a reason he's not coming on.
And by that time, like, so many people will know the show, and then if the person doesn't come on, everybody will be like, well, you didn't go on the show to back yourself up with all your rhetoric. Why didn't you go on? You had your chance. And they'll be saying, wow, I don't want to go on that show because, you know, it's one-sided and all this crap, right? Which I don't...
That's how it turns out.
Yeah, well, you know, this game is crazy how far people will go in this game to get a point across or say crap or whatever, right?
Sometimes it's words aren't going to fix this. There's only one way out of this. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right, it's on. That's it. That's all. We're not talking anymore, boys.
Yeah, no more talking. We're just gonna say whatever we want in the forums, and that's why I think with Twitch, YouTube, and everybody doing these videos now, there's so much more evidence, right? That we can factually check a lot more stuff than just saying something. You know what I mean? Like just blurting whatever they feel out, and then not having anything to back it up. Like we do have. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm off topic. But you should see who's in front of you in game. It's pretty funny.
I think I just saw them real quick, but
It's someone named their character Join Kodo today.
and okay, right there. That's why I love this game. That shit right there. People do the craziest shit and it works. You remember in World of Warcraft where all the gold farmers were laying the bodies out on the ground .com to buy gold?
Yeah.
You remember that? That's the kind of shit. Yeah. That's the kind of shit. Like these guys, I didn't even see that. God, did anybody clip that by chance?
He was literally flexing on your screen and everything. Like, it was pretty great.
I'm watching the microphones on the Discord. Shit. If he's out there, come back there in front again. We'll give you another plug, bud.
That is pretty funny.
That was funny. Damn it, and I missed it. Where is he? Let me just
The
real
only
quick.
thing he's missing is a Pepsi can in his hand.
Where was he? Yeah, I don't see him. I'll stay here.
Fucking sponsored ad.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. That's it, right? That's it. So we did have a lot of interest in the numbers in your guild, and so we thought I said you guys had definitely probably a couple hundred for sure, and that was a pretty big number I thought with people in sub guilds and that in there in total. So now there was other questions that I had from people. They asked if your guild would be hired out as a merc guild.
No, not really. I mean, we're not. That's not like who we are. I mean, would we? Probably, if it was like good enough and like we hated the other side anyways. You know, sure. But I don't think that would pertain to like sieging per se, because with sieging comes like a whole plethora of other variables that you would have to take into consideration, and I don't think gold cuts it. You know, like it just doesn't. Like politics doesn't really have like a price value for me. I'm more concerned with like, you know, personal relationships and stuff like that. I don't think gold should be involved in that. So maybe if it was like for a fight or to like pressure them out of a town or something like that, that could be a possibility, yes. But if it's like sieging, I would probably say like a firm no.
Yeah.
But other contract work you're cool with, you know, like hire, like, oh, I want to transport a lot of stuff from MK to Medulla. I'll hire 10 of your mounteds to transport with me, protect me.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I've already
That's cool, right?
talked to a few people who were interested in stuff like that around where we'll be living. So definitely, yeah. I mean, like safe passage and escorting and stuff like that. Yeah,
because that is a huge part of the game. We used to hire the Russian mounted group, to come and escort us out of the Satyr dungeon all the time, because we'd be coming out of there every week with like 10,000 liquid gold and another 20,000 worth of materials. So we used groups all the time to escort us out because the money was so big, right? If you lost it, it's like a whole week's worth of work gone. So
well, the thing is like you have PvPers who don't like to farm, and then someone's like, "Hey, can you escort me through this highly dangerous contested road?" Like they're gonna get the PvP they want anyways. And they're gonna get paid for it. Like,
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, they definitely get paid for it for sure. We'd be throwing thousands of gold at them just to get out of there, and it was no problem ever. Okay, go ahead.
I think it really comes down to we wouldn't be paid to change our political position, but we would be paid to put effort into something.
Yeah, you want to keep your political position for sure solid. Go ahead, Nut.
No, like I've been even thinking about maybe you'd have to rent out some engineers. Like another guild wants that keep built super fast. Here's 2,000 gold. Send me 5 engineers over, help us out.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely there's definitely like other contracts to be had too. Like something similar to that would be like if a guild doesn't have like a smaller guild, let's say, or like a few solo players who are playing together, whatever. They don't have like a weaponsmith who's like level 100 and has the
Yeah.
the tongue steel lores and all this, which will be much harder to get at launch, obviously. And maybe they were hiring you to come over to their town and like craft them a bunch of stuff for like a war that they're about to have or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be stuff like that going on too, I'm sure.
The possibilities are bananas in this.
Yeah. There's so much to do, eh? Like, it's going to be just astronomical what you're going to be able to do. So I think that's about it. What we're going to do now for the last part, I'm just going to let Putzin just generally talk about his guild, and he can say whatever he wants, and then the questions and Faith can have a minute to talk as well. And then we're going to start taking questions from the chat. So remember the format, guys. Highlight and like just ask questions, good questions. Like if you're gonna ask garbage questions, we're not gonna take them. So just don't even waste the time writing it. Okay, Putzin. Yeah, anything you want to say about your guild? And you got a couple
Plug your
minutes
guild,
there. Plug your guild, and let's get on with it. Love it.
I'll just kind of summarize stuff we've already discussed, I guess. I don't know how much more there's really to talk about. I mean, Acolytes is a new guild. It's dedicated to Mortal Online 2. We have like 150 to maybe 200 members in our Discord after some trimming, but we probably have like 50 to 60 active. It's kind of been dipping down, I can't even lie, just because of like there's been no content added to the game for like a month now.
Yeah.
Because of the stress test and the server instability issues and all that stuff. So we have taken a bit of a dip on inactivity or activity, I mean, and but it's going to come back up as soon as patch hits. People are just saying like they got real life stuff. Games there's not much to do right now, but
Yeah.
and we're going to be based in Fabrinum at launch. Our stance kind of with Fabrinum, it may change in the future, but our past stance has been we are not an anti-RPK guild by any means. We decide who we attack based on the political landscape. So let's say we're at war with a guild, and we know that this untagged alt is the exact same name as a guy that was in that guild, then he's going to be on our KOS list. So we do not attack newbies. We do not attack nakeds. We do not attack minors. We do not attack randoms. Around Fabrinum, we attack people who we know to be enemies and or griefers, and there are a lot of them at Fabrinum if you've never been.
Right now.
We tend to take an anti-RPK stance around the area of Fabrinum, but otherwise it's player choice, and players dictate their own actions. Like if they feel like they want to fight this group over at Cave Camp, then they are free to do so, as long as it does not dip into our diplomacy and affect our political landscape. And then in the future, we want to take a keep, and we want to control Fabrinum, and we want to make it a prosperous place. We don't want to grief the city and bring it down to the gutters, like the gutter snipes did. They just ruined the town. They didn't let anyone play there, and we kind of want to take the opposite approach with MO2. And the gutter snipes are free to live there as long as they're not just griefing and trolling everybody. I have no personal issue with them, but it tends to see that they're going back to their old ways and just killing people at the Crusher and killing horses and just doing all this stuff. But we want to make Fabrinum a great place to live. We think it's an important trade hub from anywhere from the north. In the north, from like the west to the east, like you have to kind of go through Fabrinum to get anywhere, especially to get Calx products to GK. Fab is the best route because it's just a straight shot. MK is kind of like a long, lengthy path now. There's no backdrop on MK now, so Fabrinum is the number one choice for Calx to GK too. So
make Fab great again.
Yeah, make Fab great again.
Hashtag.
I don't know if it ever was that great because I've heard like Envy was taking the town before Guts, and then Guts had it, and then it kind of was just dead after that. To be honest with you, but yeah, I mean that's our goals. That's our all we want is to make Fab great.
So new players that want to get a hold of you go through the forums into the guild recruit, hit your Discord through that, or is there other ways to get a hold of you guys?
Faith, you want to go ahead and do that?
So guild recruitment on the main server is a very, very good start. I post on that every 8 hours or so. And there's a link to being able to connect to the server where you can go through a vetting process, and we can basically just check you out. If you ever want to DM a recruiter, you definitely can, and they will be able to answer lots of your questions. Other than that, we have a lower tier, effectively an apostates trials inside our guild before you're a full guild member, so people can get in to that through just that process. But to become a full guild member, you have to be active and all the rest. You get it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I always like war stories from Mortal 1, and I don't know why I can still remember my first death laughing about it. Do you have any awesome death scenes you've had that you can remember? Anyone from Mortal 1?
Putzin.
I'm sorry. What was the question? Say again. Sorry.
Like, what's your favorite time that really sticks in your head where like, oh man, I got smoked, I got killed there, but it was hilarious. Do you have any of those? Like, I've got tons of hilarious death scenes in my brain from Mortal 1, and I'm just curious of other people's.
No, not really. Not anyone that particularly stands out. I mean, I was fighting this guy at Seder Temple once, and my Mulva was parked outside the temple, and I kept kiting him back inside the temple and then out because he kept accidentally hitting the Satyrs and they would aggro onto him.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wasn't like a full-fledged fighter. I was like a tamer fighter, and I was just trying to make money. And he was like a full-on foot fighter with heavy armor. And I kept kiting him back and forth, and he kept hitting the Satyrs, so he kept having to stop to deal with them. And every time I would try and like go to the water to like swim away, like he would like just start bowing me down, so I'd have to swim back and then kite him again. And it was just like a 20-minute 1v1.
Jesus.
And then I ended up just using my fat Mulva to help me kill him while Satyr was on him.
Yeah.
I ended up winning with like 2% health, and it was just like the longest fight ever.
Yeah, that's stuff I like to hear, like little war stories like that.
Yeah.
My first death, like crazy death, we were with ID and RPK sieged us, and this giant beetle come up there and just crushed me and 5 people. Well, I started crying and laughing. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, you know? Oh my God, this thing just smashed me. And I got shit for laughing, but it was good. It's a good memory.
I think just to add to that, I don't have a death scene for myself. I haven't been playing MO1 obviously, but yesterday there was one person, don't know who it was. Someone from Titanic Empire, who is one of our enemies, and they were inside GK. And we were coming back from this raid, and so there was this group of maybe 40 of us walking along the road, and this one guy from Titanic Empire is just milling along, and everybody just calls to jump on him, and there's just utter laughter throughout the entire Discord as everybody's just like this one singular guy crying on microphone, just like, no.
Oh, that's great.
She means Trinsic Empire.
Oh, sorry, Trinsic.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Funny. Yeah, that's what I like to hear, stuff like that.
Just to add to getting a hold of you guys, join my Discord. We have an actual guild thing set up there for the Acolytes. You can go in there and just add yourself in if you're a member of the Acolytes, so we can get a hold of you. Because sometimes I see guys and I want to talk to them. It's just easier for me to get them through the Discord. All right, I got a question here from Jaster. What's their most active time zone? I'm just going to scroll down through. I'll take questions now, guy.
One.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Whoever fired that one out, good job.
That's Jaster.
It's been varying with the inactivity. I would say probably like 5 p.m. Eastern to like 8 p.m. Eastern. So it's more of like an NA heavy slope right now. But we do have a lot of EUs, but like they're just like I said, like the inactivity has kind of hit us a little bit in the EU department.
Yeah, it's so early still.
I think that's mostly dependent on the other people inside the game being more active as well. So people choose to be more active in the NA times. But there's a fairly large player base of EU as well. So
yeah,
if more stuff is organized like this, there's more people on. Like right now, there's a fair number of people on. Not as many as in NA times, but fairly good.
I know when they were doing sieges, they would always try to do them between 10 a.m. and 2, p.m. because that was when we could get the most numbers on for sieging, usually, or later at night, right? Like 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., which would be mornings for the other side of the world. Okay, so we have another question. Grimscar, thank you. Is there lore or history behind the guild? I know you mentioned light RP. didn't know how much had actually been written about the guild or anything. Putzin, you want to take that one?
No. Short answer. Long answer, yes. Because the only RP we ever really do is we talk about praising the eternal flame.
Yeah.
And outside RP, all we're referencing is the sun, because it's always there, throughout the day. So we reference the praise the eternal flame, and to dive a little bit deeper into it, because I don't feel like nerding out really right now. The eternal flame isn't a her, him, or it.
Yeah.
It's actually a plural,
Yeah.
because the eternal flame is multiple deities within one form, if that makes any sort of sense
Yeah.
to you. So the eternal flame is more than one being at the same time.
Okay, so I just
No.
want to add to that. Sorry, Dean. You know how Kodo wants the fountain? They want the fountain in and they're apparently getting it. So if you guys take and hold Fab for a year, should we be able to do the hashtag that we need an eternal flame outside by the crushers or whatever? I think that's fair. Hashtag.
We should have a giant torch in the middle of town at the market stall that just never goes out, and it should be a blue flame.
That would
That's what it should be.
that would be
Nice.
wicked, eh?
And then we'll
Yeah.
gather there every sunrise and praise the sun long for like an hour. Real life.
Yeah, like
As you asked
RPK.
that question, Kathara literally just messaged me saying, praise the fountain, after I said praise the eternal flame. It's everywhere.
It is.
It's everywhere.
Everybody's gonna love it. Everybody wants one in their town, and it's kind of cool. So I got another question from Fried Potato. Are you guys open for trading at GK, especially for other people outside your alliance? So I would
Wait, what was it? Trading GK?
A trade in GK.
Trading at GK, especially for people that are outside your alliance. I think he's just wondering if you can do free trade between you guys and not get killed.
No is the short answer. Yes
Yeah.
is the long answer. Because they will take taxes,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, a form of trading, because you're getting to be in GK for something else, which is transactional.
Yeah.
So they are accepting like Calx and Cerberus products.
Yeah.
And then they'll let you roam or do whatever for X amount of time, depending on what you bring.
Okay.
And it doesn't go to
Okay.
any one person. Just reach out to any of the guilds that live there and just get with somebody and go from there.
Oh, yeah.
UK is a hot spot.
Yeah. Potato, I hope that answered your question. That was actually a good one. Because I would have said the complete opposite. So there's no more questions popping up in the chat. Does anybody else have another question before we go? Based on maybe guild recruiting or anything like that you want to know, or where they're hanging their hat all the time if you were coming into the interview late.
I got one.
Oh, just a second. Potatoes coming back. That will be awesome to know. If it will be tax, can they drop it in discs so I can make a trade? There definitely will be taxes everywhere, dude. Like everything has to be
Basically-
paid for. Sorry, go ahead.
Just DM us, Potato, if you're looking to do trade inside GK with us. DM us on Discord and we'll start talking.
There you go. Putzin put his Discord name in there. Like I said, join the Discord. Everybody's going to be in there. We got all the channels made up for all the guilds. Everyone that comes on for an interview, we're making that. So all you guys that are acolytes, get in the Discord. So if we want to get a hold of you personally, we can, and I can refer people to you directly as well, right? Like I get a lot of messages every day, people asking certain things. So if you're in there, get a hold of me. We'll trade. Oh, sorry, Dean, go ahead.
No, for Putzin, is there any type of tune that you guys are short on that you're actually looking for to recruit? Like, we really need crafters right now, or do you really need somebody right now?
Yeah.
Honestly,
specific.
no. We have a good spread of everything. We haven't been lacking on really anything. I mean, no one's really taking the game seriously either at the
No.
moment.
Mhm.
Like, we're all just testing stuff. Like, people have re-rolled like 10 times to do all these different things.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, not really. I mean, if I had to think of anything, and it's not even something we need, I would just say more mages, as a combat side of things, not
Yeah.
really like a professional side of things, because we don't need it. But maybe just like more mages in general.
Yeah.
But like, if we needed it, like we would just have our like ask our people to go mage, and like they would want to go mage because they don't care. They just want to help the guild, you know. But we don't really need anything per se.
Bad cameraman says tribute, not taxes. It's always taxes, bud. You can't get away.
I think I know who he is. That's not his real name, but I think I know who that is. And yes, it is tribute, not taxes. Correct.
Good point, dude. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's all money going back, right? That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll try and split the tribute between the guilds, but like, you know, if it's a stack of like, you know, calx itself, like, and not calx powder or something, you know, like, this doesn't amount to much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So in closing, we're just gonna briefly talk about the channel again and what's coming up later. What we're looking for in the channel coming up, we're gonna try to do a news segment on the world of Nave, like once a week. I'll probably do like maybe a 15-minute talk, and I'll upload it to YouTube. So what we're looking for is kind of like reporters that will feed my channel information that's truthful. You know, we're not going to talk about patching the game or anything like that. We're just going to talk about player stuff in the game. So say there was a big fight at Vada, you know, there was 50 versus 50, and whoever lost control of Vada for 2 hours. That's the kind of information that we're looking for. So we're looking kind of for reporters, like maybe 6 to 12 people that are in guilds all over the place, and you're going to feed us information. So what we can do is try to clear narratives up, get the truth out of what's actually happening. And I don't care if, okay, say you go in, you got 20 people, the other group has 50, you get wiped. We don't care about that, because that's the game mechanics, right? That's how it's going to play out all the time in this game. If you get a fair fight in this game, you're lucky. You know what I mean? So we're kind of looking for that. So people that are in the chat right now, thanks very much for showing up. But like I said, we're gonna look for between 6 and 12 kind of reporters that can give us information, and I can read the news. We'll vet you. We'll chat in Discord for a couple minutes. Yeah, BBC. No, it's called NNN. It's called the New Nave, or what is it? Nave News Network. We're gonna call it. Okay, so it's gonna, listen, guys. It's gonna be a blast, and you guys can give me the information or hit me up in Discord and talk to me, and we'll go through it, and we'll figure out how to report on it, and then we'll go from there. And I think it's gonna be a fabulous idea. It'll be super duper for the game, I think. And you know, people always have stories, but they can't get them out anywhere to tell anybody. They might tell 10 people, but if I get it out and I put it out and I hit a couple thousand people, even better. It's just better for the game. Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming. Special shout out for the Acolytes for coming on. We didn't know how it was going to roll. I think some of the guys were a little bit nervous that it was going to be straight up attacks on them, but the chat was good. We had one guy, so everything else was awesome. And anybody that has a guild out there that wants to get in touch, go through the Discord, drop it, and we'll be in contact. Manik starts looking after it, and then we'll go from there. Like, I'm any guild. It doesn't matter what size you are. Like, don't be scared because you only have 10 people in your guild. You want to come on? Get your name in. We're taking everybody. I don't care. And I don't think anybody in chat cares either. They just want to know about the guilds, because the more information we get out about all the guilds and how many people are in them, you're going to learn more about the game. Because the game is so big and so in depth that if we can get every guild on here, that would be amazing. Like over the next 6 months or whatever, I think we can do that. Rolf TV, buddy, I got you. Don't worry. Okay, we're gonna end it right here. We'll shut the video off, and we'll talk to everybody soon.